Hi, everyone. Today is Wednesday, March 18th. Lose my voice a little bit at the end of the day. So a little tricky, oversleeping, getting up this morning. But then I didn't have a class at 8, so that gave me a chance to prepare lesson plans for the classes at like 10:30 and 11:15, and prepare some materials for half the class, the third graders, to be creating some sentences working with the present progressive and going through the verb to be and affirmative negative and contractions, and then combining that with the verbs with ing, and then also linking that with some images of I don't know, doing and what's in the picture, doing homework or working on the computer that was in the book. So they were actually able to get these sentences put together. And even one student was asking me about the past tense and a was, were. So I mean, going forward, that's a good a good question to see the verb to be present, verb to be past, and that expands things into being able to talk about, like I am, I am doing, I was doing. So that could actually get into um, even more of those tenses. So that particular student, I'm very happy that they're kind of noticing those little patterns and able to kind of build on that. At least two or three students noticing that as well out of these like six. And then with the other group, trying to also get them to work with the verb to um, to be able to kind of with the exercises we were working on, be able to identify the names of animals, like it is an elephant, and then also not only identify but also describe, like um, it is, big, it is small, um, uh, and then also be able to do that in plural as well. So the book is combining several of these concepts, not only the it is, it isn't, but then also they are, they aren't, and also have. So like it has, big feet, or it doesn't have big ears. For me, that's too many concepts for the grammar to be mixing in the same unit, even though it 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 makes sense once students are able to talk about those animals and either identify them and describe them and in the positive negative, but it just feels like it's too many. And it also does create some confusion on, well, we use the do and don't and doesn't, and with have, why are we not using that negative with do with the verb be? So that creates some unnecessary confusion where we say, oh, we use is and are, directly with not. Um, but then if I give somebody a negative companion, like don't be late, that's confusing. Um, so I'm trying to find ways to just keep it simple, or that one particular class really keep that focus on the on one structure, and then really try to target one exercise. But even I say, I don't know, page 63, they're like, I didn't understand page 62. And I'm like, we're not working on page 62. We're only working on that. So getting them to really pay attention to that instruction is important. And then in the following class with the fourth, fifth graders, trying to wrap up, finishing with a unit, trying to get them to work on a couple pages in a workbook. Some of them had already finished those one or two pages. Some students really struggling with the meaning of a sentence, but not um, really engaged to work in it. Or as soon as I'm trying to work with two or three of them who are a little bit weaker in that subject area, other students are like, I finished, or I have a question. I'm like, I need to work with these students who are struggling. So um, as group teacher, and also as with a lot of experience with private tutoring, it's this constant push and pull on wanting to help students, kind of really guide them, walk them through something, try to get them motivated or engaged and not distracted. And so it's very challenging to um, try to work with them as a group and realize like I might have these goals and objectives and priorities and I want to help all of them, but um, it's almost sometimes of and I mean, sometimes it's like being on the Titanic and going like, who do I save? I mean, like, and who's capable of saving themselves? Sometimes, yeah, it can be a little frustrating to kind of like I want to save all of them and then realize like, okay, I need to focus my attention on the ones who are kind of willing to help me, willing to help me save them and willing to help me teach them, and the ones who are just like not interested and they're there to create distractions. I just have to kind of maybe I don't know, just like they've made their decision and realize like okay, their maturity level or their interest is just um, not that priority at that moment, and that's going to affect them with their English classes going forward. But I don't want to. I mean, I have the responsibility of like I can't leave any of them behind. But sometimes it's very hard to kind of like if somebody doesn't want to be helped and they don't want to work, um, they are communicating that to me time in time out, and soon this week or so I need to make some appreciations, some comments, some grades, and communicate that now that we're into the second trimester and say, okay, some potential that was there before Christmas, like September, October, November, December, in some of those comments, I need to double check and see where are we now. And okay, there's been a dip, and I do not see an improvement in behavior. I do not see an improvement in the quality of their work or their participation in the class. It's been disruptive. I need to make those comments a little bit harsher or a little bit not mince my words and try to communicate that directly to the parents and go like something needs to change, because if it continues this way, that's a downward trend. I need to see some improvement. I need to see a change in attitude, and then to see that coming from the student, and I also need that support from the family members as well. But it's a responsibility working with 50 to 60 students and trying to keep track of each one of them and their progress and kind of what's going on from day to day or from week to week over these past couple months. And then in the afternoon, had a private class and student working on essays. So we were taking a deep dive onto kind of what makes a good essay or the body paragraph structures and things. And then I went with the group for the English practice. And then right now I had another private class online. So yeah, my voice is a little shot at the end of the day. Hola a todos, hoy es miércoles 18 de marzo y en la mañana no empiezo directamente a las 8, pero me da tiempo de preparar las clases y escoger como qué vamos a hacer en la clase, qué actividades para estar preparando los temas, terminando los temas, revisando. Y tenía dos actividades sobre todo como verbo ser o ser, estar, para poder estar trabajando de present progressive con un grupo y también ser con identificar los animales y características de los animales, de cómo son grandes. Y en el libro además quieren involucrar el verbo tener, de cómo tienen no sé, orejas grandes o no tienen Para mí eso se complica un poco demasiado para esa unidad, pero hay que ayudarles a conocer esos temas y hacerlo más sencillo y enfocado, en lugar de usar todo en la misma frase o párrafo. Y luego con otro grupo estamos revisando y terminando unos ejercicios en el cuaderno y también en su cuaderno para tomar notas y escribir frases. Y pronto vamos a tener una visita de un inspector. Entonces estaba intentando como explicarles que vamos a tener esa visita y es importante, pero luego estaba platicando con el director como, ¿cómo, cómo les explico? Porque es importante que son involucrados en, en ese proceso para la escuela de homologación y es una ventaja que tenemos cosas positivas si eso pasa para nosotros, la escuela, los papás, ellos, los maestros. Um, y después la escuela, tuve una clase privada, estamos hablando de es como escribir ensayos en inglés. Entonces hacemos como una sesión de generación de ideas. Luego fui con un grupo de conversación en inglés y ahorita acabo de tener una clase privada. Eso todo ahorita, ya casi no puedo hablar. Bonjour tout le monde, aujourd'hui c'est mercredi le 18 mars. Et ce matin, je n'ai pas eu un cours directement à 8 heures, donc ça m'a donné du temps pour préparer vraiment en détail ce que j'allais faire à 10h30, à 11h15 et avoir des activités, des matériels préparés pour diviser les groupes en deux et travailler avec eux. Et après l'école, j'ai eu un cours privé pour parler de comment écrire un essai en anglais. Et donc, on a eu un moment pour générer des idées. Et après, je suis allé avec le groupe de conversation en anglais. Et là, je viens d'avoir un dernier cours privé en ligne. Et c'est tout pour aujourd'hui. Hallo an alle, heute ist Mittwoch, der 18. März. Und heute Morgen, Mittwoch, ich habe ein bisschen Freizeit und ich kann meine Stunden vorbereiten und danach um 10:30 ich bin mit den Studenten und nach der Schule hatte ich eine Stunde und wir haben darüber Essays gesprochen und viele Ideen machen für Schreiben. Und ich hatte auch um 7 Uhr die Gruppe für Englisch zusammen zu sprechen mit Nachbarn. Und jetzt hatte ich eine andere Stunde um 9 Uhr und jetzt kann ich gar nichts sprechen. Das ist alles für heute. Ciao a tutti. Oggi è di mercoledì, il 18 marzo e stamattina ho passato un po' di tempo per preparare le lezioni alle 10 ore, mezz'ora. E dopo la scuola ho fatto una lezione privata per parlare di essay in inglese o come avere molte idee per scrivere. E stasera ho parlato con vicini in inglese per praticare e dopo questo ho fatto una lezione in internet e questo è tutto per oggi. Всем привет, сегодня среда, это 18 марта, и сегодня утром, когда я начал день в школе, у меня есть свободное время, и я могу готовить урок, и потом после школы у меня было занятие, мы разговаривать о том, что как написать эссе, и как имеет много идей. И сегодня вечером у меня была встреча, чтобы разговаривать на английском со соседями. И также потом у меня было занятие по интернету. И это все на сегодня. Большое спасибо. Пока.